Hey guys, okay, so here's another episode that I had in Mexico this past weekend with my wife. And again, I'm just kind of going sporadic here with all the different events. So I was in Mexico this weekend with my wife, which was the end of January 2019. Okay, today's January 31st. We were there just last week. So I was looking at, I was on the patio, and then I got like a download, and then I saw myself. If you remember the video that I made with the Mexican family, and then the guy was half Mexican, half Native American, and he was a homosexual, he was coming out, and the conflict that he had with his family. I'll ask you to refer to that video, because maybe it'll help you understand this session here. I saw myself kind of like through the eyes of a young African American guy. And it was so I was actually in his mother's body, so to speak, or I was just there. So it was a young African American guy with his mom, and this young man was about to embark like on a journey, kind of like a missionary. It had nothing to do with religion, but it was similar to those people who do missions, and they're gone for like a year and a half to 2 years. So I saw this kid, and it was a book. He was putting down a book, but the book wasn't rectangular. The book was square. I remember that distinctly. It was a square book. He put it down, and there was like this piece of metal that kind of like went on top of it, perfectly covering the top of the book. It showed me that, and then it showed me like I saw the numbers a year and a half to 2 years, and then I instinctively knew that he was going to be gone for that time, and he was going to be on a rough journey. So then I connected with his, so that's what he was going to do. And then I connected with the moms, and the mom was concerned and kind of telling him, honey, you don't know what you're up against. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to go out there in the real world and yada yada. So she was kind of conveying that to him and kind of prepping him like any mother would. So then he says, Mom, that's okay, Mom. I'm tough. Nothing's going to stop me. And then when he said that, when he conveyed that to her, I had a vision of him kind of like in a public forum, like in a school setting, and he was presenting or he was doing something, and someone had called him the N-word. And then he immediately dismissed it. And like he was telling his mom, remember that time when I did this and they called me the N-word in front of everybody? Remember how cool I was? And I was like inside his mind, and I knew that it didn't bother him because he knew that that's not who he was. You may call me an N-word because I'm black, but the N-word actually means this, and I am not that definition, so that just doesn't apply to me. So he was very pragmatic and very matter-of-factual in that way, and he was not going to let anybody else get under his skin like that. So that's the vision. It's kind of like the communication between him and his mom that I was part of. So then when he said that to his mom, I had a vision. I'll just grab this. This is the Law of One. If you haven't read it, you should read it. So then I had this vision of all these pages kind of going like this, like all these different pages going on. And then when I saw those pages, I felt like this heavy angst, like a heavy weight in my heart. And it didn't make any sense. I'm like, why do I feel this pain? Like, what's going on? I'm just an observer here. And then it showed me that those pages were part of his book of life per se. And that each page represented a situation that he was going to run into within the next year and a half to 2 years, where they were going to treat him as bad as they treated him in school, but on a much grander level. So the mom was like, look, you handle that once. You're going to get about 150 more of those same situations, if not worse, because now you're out there in the real world with adults, etc., etc. So I could see the anxiety in the mother, because he's a young kid. He don't really know what the world was like. And then what I understood was that when it was showing me those pages, and then I felt that pain, I was absorbing the pain that he should have felt when those things happen. And the funny thing about it is that I almost saw, so he was talking, so I almost had this vision. It's kind of like they would say something to him, like what's going to happen in the future. I'm trying to do a good job at this. So when they would say those words to him, he was almost like protected, and the words would kind of go around him, and like it wouldn't even faze him, and he would continue on his journey, on his quest, and he would not be deterred by the negative people he was going to face in the upcoming year and a half to 2 years. So, and then it then showed me that I was absorbing all of the energy that he would have felt. So I was kind of taking the pain for him. And yeah, crazy, I know. So then but it kind of makes sense because, and then it showed me just like we helped you, you're going to help him. And then it takes me back to the episode I had with the Mexican/Native American family where I tried to go in there and help, and I shit the bed. I mean, remember they had to yank me out of that experience, and then it was like we now have fine-tuned how you can help in other realms and other dimensions, which was pretty crazy. So that happens this past Sunday. Today's Thursday. That happened on Sunday. The Friday that I got there, I should have said this story first. The Friday that I got there, I had another session where I was meditating and I was praying and I was asking for help, or I forgot what I was asking for. So then it kind of said to me, well, instead of asking so much, why don't you try giving back? And then I was like, what does that mean, So then it said, we've helped you, but you need to understand that you can also help other people. And don't think that and then it told me your problem is that you think that you're separate from us, and that you think that you're always, you're not separate from us. You're not separate from the universe. You're part of the universe. And so you have to change the way you think about yourself in the sense that you can also contribute to this giant energy grid. And so that's kind of what it told me on Friday. So then Sunday, it showed me, look, your efforts, the stuff that you went through in life are going to now help this person who's going to embark on a new journey. So I don't know if it was like another version of me in another reality, or if they were just using my energy in another way. I mean, I don't understand how that works or how it makes sense. But it does make sense because when I was 23, I was a minority from back east, and I left my house to go out there and, make my name, yada, 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 all that stuff. So in a sense, I was that young man 20 something years ago, going out there and embarking on all these journeys. So I can kind of relate to it. There is a lot of parallels between me and that kid. Now his mission was different than mine, but nonetheless, he was leaving home to go out there in the real world. So maybe I got the angst from my mom, what she felt when I left the house, and maybe it's kind of the same thing. Maybe that's the way the relationship is. I don't know, but I did feel that. And so it was kind of nice because once again, we talk about changing the way you see yourself, the way we see ourselves. Now, I see myself that much more differently, where I'm not going to ask for help so much more. In fact, I'm just going to contribute and just kind of put it out there. And just, they'll give you what you need when you need it, so to speak. But yeah.